If you've ever been to a birthday party, you've probably spent some time doing this, inflating balloons. But what is actually happening when you inflate a balloon? Why does a balloon inflate when you blow into it? Well, you probably thought this was pretty simple. When you inflate a balloon, you're filling it with air. But is a balloon really filled with air? I'm about to show you that there's no way things are quite so simple. But to do this, we first need to remember a science fact. The science fact is that all matter is made of particles. Knowing this, we can go back and model the balloon being filled with air. As you blow into the balloon, it gets larger because all of the space inside is filled with air particles. Now notice, I drew these particles way bigger than they actually would be. It's just drawn like this so that it's easier to understand. But this model, with all of the space inside of the balloon filled by air particles, doesn't work. Take a look at this picture. Here's a balloon filled with air. But if all the space is supposedly filled with air particles, then how did they also fit a stuffed animal inside? And here's another example. This guy is in a big inflated plastic ball. It's just like a balloon. It looks like the ball is filled with air, but he's able to move around inside of it, as if it were empty. If all the space is taken up by air particles, he shouldn't even be able to fit inside, and definitely not move around like that. What's happening here? Well, this leads to today's big question. What is happening when air inflates a balloon? Well, to start understanding this, we need to learn some science facts about air. Air is a gas, and today's science fact is that in a gas, there's lots of space between the particles. So let's go back and change our model from before. Instead of showing all of this space filled with air particles, we will show that as you blow into the balloon, air particles do go inside, but there's a lot of space between each particle. Now this can explain some observations. It explains why you can put something into the balloon, because there's all this empty space. But if there's all this empty space in the balloon, then how does it stay inflated? If it's all just empty space, shouldn't it deflate? This leads to our next science fact. The next thing to know is that gas particles are constantly moving around. So in our model, we don't just want to show that gas particles go into the balloon, but that once they're inside, they keep moving and bouncing around. Now I want to point out, these are not moving just because you blew the air into the balloon. No matter what you do, particles in a gas are constantly and always flying and moving around. Now that we've improved our model, do you have any new ideas about what is happening when air inflates a balloon? Well, when you put air into a balloon, the air isn't taking up all the space. In fact, a lot of it is just empty space. But what is happening is these air particles keep hitting the sides of the balloon. Every time a particle hits the side of a balloon, it stretches it out and inflates it a little bit. Balloons stay inflated because the particles of a gas are constantly moving and smashing into the sides. So now let's bring it back to our big question. What is happening when air inflates a balloon? And make sure to remember the two science facts that helped us understand today's phenomenon. 1. In a gas, there is lots of space between particles. And 2. In a gas, particles are constantly moving around. That's all for today.